What's up everybody, it's your boy Stafford back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about product photography, but you know what we got to do first. We got to roll that intro. So the product we're going to be shooting today is just some Neutrogena. Alright, it's going to be a basic setup, white background, and we're going to discover some things. We're going to determine how we shoot on reflective surfaces, because this product does have some reflective surfaces that we're going to need to overcome. Another thing, you always want to make sure you have some type of glove on your finger, because you don't want to get any fingerprint on the product, because if you do, it's nothing wrong with it, but it is going to waste a lot more time during the post process. Alright, so we already have like a basic setup right over here. We have a white background with just a reflective plate. Now, everything that you see in this video, will find it in the descriptions below. Alright, so here we are going to take the product out using the glove on my finger to make sure we don't get no fingerprints on our product. Now this product is brand new, but if it wasn't brand new, normally I would use something such as this to clean it off, help dust it off. If it's real bad, then I like to use, me personally, I like to use some rubbing alcohol to get off any type of smudges, dirt, things of that nature. And I even like to keep a cloth around as well. If it's mainly dusty, then I have this air duster right here that does the job perfectly with just getting off small dust. Speaking of that, before I even put the product down, I do want to make sure my surface is well cleaned. Alright, no dust is now on our surface. So now we're gonna put the product down right here in the center. So there's a few placements that you could do with your camera, even the background. So even with the backdrop, I just have the backdrop straight down, straight in the back with just a reflective surface. My intent with this product is I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut it out and put it on a clear, clean background in Photoshop. If you don't have time to do that, another setup you could do is you can create that infinite background. The way how you create that infinite background is if we'll just have it curved down, I would just need to lower the backdrop and then just take the bottom cloth and then have it on a table. Then you'll see like a giant curve within it, and that's how you create a infinite background in person without doing it post-production. In my case, I plan on doing that infinite background within Photoshop. But here we're gonna get started. So camera I'm using the Canon EOS R with just a standard kit lens of the 24 to 105 f4 lens. I'm also going to be shooting tethered within Lightroom. Normally I would like to use a trigger, but until I can actually get a perfect setup with that, tethered is one way to go. The reason why I like using tethered or using a remote trigger is because I don't want the camera to shake in any type of way, and those little micro jitters really add up when you pixel peep in Photoshop. But without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Right now I'm going to dial in my settings, make sure we got everything formulated properly right on the subject. And then all I do with the tethered capture is just use the button right there on Lightroom, press it, snap the picture, and it blows up. It is more ideal than looking on the back of the LCD screen on the camera, because sometimes you really want to make sure everything is dialed in perfectly and everything is clean and set to go. So every image that I do capture, I will be bringing it up on the screen so you guys could see everything that we're doing in real time. And then in part 2 of this video, I will show you how we actually go in and edit it. So the first image that we took actually has a full black screen, completely blacked out. So next thing we want to do is we want to add in some lights. So before I actually add in the diffusion on the left hand side, it's just going to be the light just by itself, so we can see how harsh it actually is and we can determine if we like it. Because remember, photography is also an art, so might as well experiment and have some fun. Right now, this is the Neewer Q400N. Again, it's going to be in the description down below. I got the power set at 5.0. It's not a traditional light where it actually has the fraction when it comes down to power. But I mean, if you do know the conversion between them, by all means, more power to you. Gonna leave it at 5.0. We're gonna take a test shot and let's see how it comes out. So as you can see with this first image that we've taken, it could use some cleaning. So that's what we're gonna do next. But looking at the light, you can see that it has a lot of hot spots on it. And with the hot spots, that's where a diffusion will come in to actually eliminate majority of those hot spots. So we're gonna go ahead and get it cleaned up first, and then we're gonna go ahead and add in our diffusion onto the light to go ahead and get rid of those hot spots and really soften it out. Now I like using 5-in-1 reflector, but this one is a really large one and that you can't go wrong with. So I'm gonna add this in right here. The light comes in. It's gonna soften it, diffuse it, and then it's gonna shine right in, right on the product. So here's shot number 2, or number 3. Shot number 3. As we see with shot number 3, you see all the highlights got a lot softer on the image. So let's go back to shot number 1 to compare it. As you can see, the difference between this shot and this shot, majority of those hot spots got taken away. To get rid of the rest of them, we could do it in post, which that's what I will most likely do, take it away in post. Or I could double up the diffusion or back away the lights. If I back away the lights, it will lessen those hot spots. Double up diffusion, we'll do the same thing. Add in, overall, we can still see some scratches on the product, which is fine. In post, we'll take care of that. Otherwise from that, the lighting setup itself looks immaculate. So what we can do, you have 2 options, right? We could add a reflection on the right hand side to bounce that light back in, or we could add another light source on the right hand side to help fill in some of those shadows on the right hand side. So I know a lot of people don't really have lights. These lights are not expensive at all. If you just have a speed light, you're just using one light, it's still perfectly fine. Get a bounce card, reflect that light right back in. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here I have the board, just nice white. Gonna set it in to reflect it. 2 options you have to actually do this is you can set it on a timer, your camera on a timer. With it on a timer, you could just hold it and it'll bounce the light back in. In my case, I'm shooting tethered, so I'm just gonna bring in a light stand and some clips, clip it up, and just hold it in place. Or lean it up. A lot faster, right? I like it too. Alright, let's take another shot and see. So as you can see from shot 1 or the previous shot to this shot, it did add in a lot more light. Is it enough that we wanted? No, but if we move it closer, it will have a lot more fill on the light. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move it closer so that way it can have even greater fill. Take another shot. Do you see that right there? Just by moving it closer, one light source, we moved it closer and we achieved these results right here. Now you can see a major difference between the right hand side and the left hand side, and mind you, that's only a bounce card. We're just reflecting the light off of one single light source. Now the reason why I personally wouldn't use this is because there's a harsh line right here down the middle. Now there is a technique that you can use in post to get rid of that, but that will be on episode 2 for this product. Of course, for this type of product, we want to go for that nice, clean, soft light. So we want that gradient to really wrap around the product. We don't really want it to reflect on it super hard. So we're gonna try backing this light up some so that way it could just roll off the product nice and smoothly. Alright, let's see what this does. Didn't work. It's not giving us that nice smooth gradient. As you can see on the left hand side of the product, we got that nice smooth gradient because we do have the light coming through a giant reflector that's creating a nice smooth gradient. Now on the right hand side, because this is harsh, it's not giving us that results that we're looking for, unfortunately. And the further back we do move it, the less reflection of light we're gonna get from this. Now, it is possible to get it, but that will be a lot of tinkering, which I don't want to do to make this video even longer. So instead, we're just gonna bring in another diffusion and put it on the right hand side. But now that we have the 2 light sources, let's go ahead and take another shot. Brilliant. Just brilliant. So this was the previous shot. And this is the shot now. It's pretty clean all over. Nice evenness on both sides. Now it does have these hot spots that we can leave, or we could go ahead and take them out in post. What we can try doing to minimize those hot spots is moving the light source. Here with this setup, as you can see, we did achieve removing those hotspot in post. What we end up doing was moving the light source closer to the front. By moving it closer to the front, we end up neutralizing those hotspots because the light was able to bounce on the product a lot better. That's all we did. Moved it on, product a lot better. Now, if you have trouble cutting out the product in post, another thing you can do is just elevate the product just slightly higher than what it actually is. So that way when you're out there with the pen tool or whatever tool that you like to use to crop out that image, does make it a lot easier. But the final step before I show you how to do that is we have to light the top of the image. We have to light the top of the image so that way we have a nice white glow on top of the product. For doing that, I'm just going to use a speed light, angle it down, and watch it blast off. So in order for us to get the flash on top, I put the camera on a timer. The timer is going to be for 2 seconds, so as soon as I press it, it gives me enough time to move over, angle it at the top, blast out. It's going to blast out and get the image that we need. There we go, and we have it. Alright, so generally if I'm looking to elevate a product and make it stand up a little higher, I try to grab something that's as flat as possible. What I like to use is something like this. It's just a bottle cap, honestly. The one that I took this from is from a seasoning in the kitchen. That container was empty. I took the top off of it, and now I'm going to put it underneath the bottle so that way it raises it up a little bit. What this helps to achieve is when you're going to cut it out, you don't have to worry about being too close to whatever surface your product is on. Remember to grab the glove, because we like protection. As you can see, with something, a little tip just like that raises that product off the ground, your camera can still capture it perfectly. And by the time you go into post-production, mask right around it, and it's like it was never there. But, guys, that concludes part 1 of just the shooting process. Check out episode 2 of this, or part 2 of this video, where we go into post-production. We'll review all the files that we just captured, and we'll do the editing process of this video to give this a nice commercial look. Till next time, guys. Peace.